Welcome back. So here I'm going to provide some defaults here, and these defaults are going to be how we use this item to store a bunch of stuff. The first step is we need to create an item store instance of this bigger item store, and in here we're going to go into item store and we'll be adding items like buying groceries uh, hotels, taking kids to school, and so much more. We'll test this by just maybe logging this immediately so that we can see what our item store items look like. And 1 second, I'm gonna stop this and restart it. There we are. So this is what our items looks like. So we're going to use this thing here that we create, and we're going to put that into our JSON response here. So we'll get this out and we'll put it in here, and let's see what it's going to return to us. Let's stop this and let's refresh. And when we visit items here in our Postman, we will get a nice looking piece of items that gets returned to us like that. And this is perfect for our cases. You'll see that every time I add something new, this is where NodeMon comes in, and to quickly install it, you'll type npm install nodemon-g, and this one will allow us to run applications using it. So we'll run nodemon app.js, and what it does is that for every change that we put in here, it will save and restart the server. So let's add item playing soccer, and when we refresh, you see it refreshes here, and then when we just do that, we get a new item and its ID gets incremented nicely. All right, so in this section we've just added this response, and next we're going to work on our post request, and I'll show you how to push things. So our post will take in a post method, and it will still be sending stuff to the same URL, and we'll have request and response, and let's close that there. So what we'll do is we'll first of all get the item from our response body, and the item will be will conveniently have access to this name here. So for purposes of testing, let's quickly log our response.body so that you can see what it looks like. And I'm gonna use our item storage or store to add an item, and this item will be just that, which let's give it a proper name. Let's call it item name, and item name. Let's store this here. What we'll do then is we'll assume there's no errors, so we'll respond immediately with an item like that. However, our add item function will always have to return some kind of object, because this object is not being able to get seen, right? So we need to adjust our add item function and return the item object itself like that. So this will kind of look like this. So it will have some kind of name, fruit, and it will have a value or an ID. And this is what we shall have returned here, and then we can use it here. Okay, so by now our server has refreshed because of NodeMon, so we now need to change our method here to post, and we shall use let's use form data, or actually let's see, because we chose to use an extended version here, where we had URL extended false. So I believe it can still let us work like that. So we'll add a name, and then we'll add a value of, say, fruit. And let's click send. All right, so it can't read a property name. So we do get a bunch of bugs here. Okay, so it can't read that property because it's undefined. And this is why we shall have to do a bit of debugging. So let's carry on. Body name. Awesome. A reason we're getting a bug here is because I used the wrong thing. So we're supposed to actually be using request. And 1 second as I change it, request. And let's also change this so that you can see what it looks like. Request. And so request is what comes in. Response is what gets sent out. And it's restarted, so let's resend it. And you see, it comes back with a simple ID, and for some reason, we are not getting the body. Not getting the body because we have an incomplete use of the middleware, and see how we shall fix that. After doing some quick incognito debugging, I noticed that we used a wrong part of Postman. It's not supposed to be form data. It's supposed to actually be XWW form URL encoded. And when we click the name and change it to oranges, we should get something returned like that. Let's see. There's a small log here that shows what gets printed out for every successful return, right, that we make. And that's what, for example, our request.body looks like. Okay. If you are to add something else, like maybe age, say 20, and you send that here, your request body would have another parameter called age being sent out. And for purposes of your API, you could use that to, like, do some funky validations to see if there's something that's present, and so much more. Okay, now we also need to put a condition such that when there's no request body that exists, in other words, if this is undefined, we send back a response of something that's not been found. When we don't find things, we set appropriate codes, and a code like 100 is a bit appropriate. So let's see what the status code of 400 means. And let's see, we have a bunch of status codes that we can use. So let's look for 400. 400 means a bad request. So it's somewhere. Yeah, the request could not be understood by a server due to malformed in syntax. The client should not repeat the request without modifications. So at what stage can we be sending the wrong stuff? So let's try that. Let's try getting rid of this, and let's just send a post. And right now it's returning a bunch of stuff. So let's try it again. Okay. I suppose we need to do return here, and perhaps another return later on down below. Okay, let's try that again. Well, never mind. It's not so much of a big deal. If it's so dangerous, no body being sent, because right now here we're sending an empty body, which still is legal. And this is how we might code the post request for here. And you guessed it, if you assumed that now we need to get a single GET request where we get one item instead of all, right? So we need to pick things, right? We also need to delete things, and we shall look at that shortly. Thank you.